Coast to Coast Pick 5. $1 minimum. Player-friendly 15% takeout. Coast to Coast Pick 5.
Time to talk about the Saturday all stakes Coast to Coast Pick 5. Yeah, this one is going to be 3 stakes races from Santa Anita, 2 stakes races from Gulfstream Park in this awesome first racing Coast to Coast Pick 5 wager that we love playing every Saturday and every Sunday. Remember, it's a $1 base minimum, 15% takeout, and you get free DRF pass performances for the sequence. Let's take a look at how I'm approaching the sequence on Saturday. Now, you'll see I'm going to try to spend a little bit more, I think, coming up in these pick 5s because it's just worth it. With the $1 base, with the low takeout, they pay so well. So we're going to try to nail a few of these this weekend and see if we can hit them back-to-back Saturday, Sunday. Race number 1 in the sequence is the Silt Run. This is a turf stakes race over at Gulfstream Park. I'm going to go 3 deep in here with the 1 Panther Island, who I think is just the most consistent right now, in great form, has speed, but can sit off. Big Invasion is the horse to beat, but he's making his first start of the year. And then you have Canthari, who's sort of the new face, the up-and-coming horse, lightly raced with some upside. We'll go 1, 2, 6, try to get things started in race number 9 at Gulfstream Park. We'll move to the second leg of the pick 5 sequence, and that's going to be the grade 3 Hurricane Birdie, which is race 10 at Gulfstream Park on Saturday. I'll go 3 deep in here. I think the 5 Olivia Darling's probably the horse to beat. She comes off a really good effort last time out, winning the inside info, and she sat a really good trip that day. The 2 Red Carpet Ready was very good last year early on in her career, and she just has been off since July, but I think she's one of those that has really nice upside, and I wouldn't be shocked if she came back running. I like Libin in here as a price, who's going to cut back and should be able to sit off the pace a little bit after showing speed going longer, now cutting back to 6.5. I think that's going to put her in a really nice spot, and she should be able to pass some horses drawn to the outside. 2, 5, and 7 there in leg number 2. We move along, and now we go over to Santa Anita for the final 3 races, and they're all graded stakes races in the Santa Isabel. Kinza will be heavily favored in here, but I think she faces a tough group, like the 1 Ultimate Authority, who has some speed, who can also sit off the pace and pass horses, and she's earned 90 Beyer speed figures in her last 2 races. She's not far behind Kinza. You also have a horse like Navy Bell, who is only run 1 time, and in that race she was victorious, and she came from off the pace. If Kinza gets pressured in here by a horse like She's a Tempest, and maybe even Ultimate Authority, I think that could set up very well for Navy Bell. So I'm going to use 1, 4, and 6 in here. Kind of formful, but I just want to make sure we get through a tough Santa Isabel. Let's move to race number 7. It's the grade 3 San Simeon. We'll go 2 deep in here. We do have a backtrack that Lucia was able to pull up for us, and that's on the 3 Mucho del Oro. In the race we're watching here, he was the number 1 this day. And you can see he's out in front, and this was his first start in 6 months. So he has the lead here. He ran so well this day. He was part of the pace. He put away the early speed. Right here, you're looking at this race going, how does he lose? There's no way he loses this race. Watch the late strides of the 6 up the inside. That is one of the most wicked beats I can remember seeing. If you played Mucho del Oro that day, it was a bad beat. I think he's going to be fitter and sharper. Ottoman Prince is a really interesting wild card who comes into the Phil D'Amato barn for the first time. I really thought his race was impressive last time out at Epsom. So we'll use the 3, who's the speed, and the 6 will likely be coming from off the pace. And hopefully we can be alive moving into the grade 1 Beholder Mile, where we'll try to close things out using 2 in here. The 6 Sweet as Tekka, she's one of these types of fillies who just might be any kind. She's really fast. She won by 12 lengths in her most recent race, and her 2 wins have been just monster victories. And I think she'll be out front. She'll be forwardly placed, and she'll take them as far as she can go. I like Desert Dawn right now in the form that she's in. She is a horse who's shown a little bit more tactical speed recently, and I think it's a good spot for her because I'm not a fan of Adair Manor in this spot. I think she needs to be able to get a little closer to the lead and sit close, and I'm not sure if she's going to get that trip in here. So we'll use Sweet as Tekka, maybe running them off their feet, or Desert Dawn getting the trip 2 deep to close it out, and that'll finish things up in the Coast to Coast Pick 5 for Saturday, an all-stakes edition. We'll spend a little more than normal because now we have the sample size, and after a month and a half, 2 months, these are some of the best bets in racing, these Coast to Coast Pick 5s with the low takeout and the dollar base minimum. It just makes them really difficult to hit, which means when you do hit them, you're going to get paid back even more. free past performances for DRF. When you get to drf.com and you take a look at the sequence here, we'll always share those on social media for you. Make sure to save some of your bankroll every weekend for the Coast to Coast Pick 5.